welcome to another edition of Art of the Kickstart. Today I'm super stoked because I am speaking with one of the co-founders of AutoMount, Mr. Gilad Warder. He is also one of the managing partners of Enso Brands, which is a company that builds and acquires successful Amazon and direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands. Gilad's been in the Amazon and e-commerce space since early 2015. He's managed in excess of 40 million in revenue across his company of portfolio brands. So I'm really excited to have him today. He's also enthusiastic about bringing amazing products to life via digital channels, also an avid traveler like myself. So together with his business partner, they founded AutoMount, which is on a mission to disrupt the car roof rack industry. They've currently got an amazing product on Kickstarter that's active right now called Knotix. It's raised over $83,000 in funding from hundreds of backers. So, Gilad, thank you so much for joining us today on Art of the Kickstart.
Hi, Roy. Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have you on. I know we've been talking for a while and working on the campaign and everything. So let's jump back in time and give our audience a little bit of background here and talk about kind of the your background and kind of where it is now with what you guys are doing with AutoMount and the active Kickstarter campaign Knotix.
Yeah, sure. So, just in a nutshell, my background is actually, the Amazon world, the Amazon and e-commerce world. Me and my brother started selling on Amazon in about, end of 2015. Really just kind of like from nowhere, just kind of jumped in, started selling on Amazon, private label, tried it out, failed, succeeded, and slowly kind of really got into it, understood it much better, kind of scaled the brands, the two brands that we basically started together, which we actually still run today. And over the course of the years, we've also kind of had at a certain point, we had like an agency where we actually managed, clients on Amazon. After a few years, really gained a lot of experience there. But the agency kind of, slowly shifted into the, as you mentioned, more interesting phase of actually also building new brands on Amazon, but also acquiring new brands. It's a big industry right now, so we're not one of the big players out there. There's some companies there that raise really tremendous amounts, but we did raise a nice amount of capital. We have a great team, and we basically acquired a few brands. And currently, our main operation, my main operation, is really running those brands that we acquired, scaling them, working with our team, and that's kind of my story, our story. And Automount is basically a it's kind of a random interaction that I had with Aviad, who's basically the co-founder of Automount. About I want to say about 2 years ago already. It was quite a random kind of meetup. A mutual friend was like, "Hey, this guy does e-commerce and Amazon, and check out this guy. He has like great ideas. He's a traveler. He has all kinds of great ideas that he's thinking about of creating a new product." Okay, didn't mean much to me. But yeah, sure, had a meeting. Basically kind of kicked it off. It was really great, really great guy. Even though we come from like different walks of life, like Aviad actually is like a craftsman. He runs like a family owned welding shop, so he's very far away from the digital space, the e-commerce space, Amazon space. Means nothing to him. But he has these great ideas, and again, he's a craftsman and really just kind of has great ideas, tests them out, and so on. But besides the fact that we're two totally kind of from totally two separate walks of life, we basically had a lot of common interests, like traveling and road tripping and you name it. And he was telling me about some of the ideas he had, and I was like, this is very interesting, and maybe there's actually a real connection here. And again, this is 2 years ago, so a lot of just communication ideas, kind of bouncing off of each other. And kind of slowly and surely we came to the understanding that maybe we can actually really make something out of this. And a while back we kind of partnered, right, on let's call this a new brand, a new endeavor, and so on. kind of taking my experience, our team's experience, and Aviad's experience and ideas, and kind of forming, a joint venture, where again the Knotix is the real, jewel in the crown of our partnership. I'll discuss a lot of more ideas, after that, but that's where we kind of started. And a few months back, we really, went decided that we want to go down the route of a crowdfunding campaign for a variety of reasons. And here we are, a few months later, hoping to have a very successful campaign so that we can bring this to life.
Absolutely. Well, it's incredible in terms of the evolution, and I think that's real. The really unique side is you got in there, got your hands dirty with Amazon, kind of figured out what you liked, what you didn't like, what worked, what didn't work, made iterations, and are now here. And I think that happens with a lot of inventors, entrepreneurs as well, in terms of
Right.
getting in there, figuring out what they do or don't like, what drives revenue, what doesn't drive revenue, and then at the end of the day, kind of pivoting into something that's not only fulfilling but also service as a need, but also kind of it's just the natural evolution of business. So, with these introductions and also with your partnership, right? Like you're really good at one side of the business where your partner is really
Exactly.
good at another side of the business. And I
Right.
think a lot of solopreneurs go about it thinking that they have to do all of these things. And there's opportunity for them to bring someone on that complements, their
100%.
strengths in there where, they're battling up against themselves, unfortunately, a lot of the times. And we see it a lot, not only
Right.
guests on the show, but just people that are bringing new inventions to life. They don't have that support system in place to be able to really maximize their full potential.
100%.
Yeah. So let's talk about Knotix and the product itself, because we haven't
Yeah.
even dove in yet in terms of the invention that's active right now on Kickstarter for everybody to go check out. But in
Yep.
terms of that invention, what problem were you solving there? And talk about kind of the evolution of the product to where it is now.
Sure. So look, I think the concept is it's quite simple. It's a universal roof rack that is easily installed, easily removed, has really all of the capabilities and specs that any other top-notch roof rack, brand name roof rack would have. And really the main problem that it was solving for us, and again, this is really a problem that both of us shared, right? Because out of our shared interests, we travel a lot. We have, I have two cars. We switch cars every once in a while. Um, and really it's just like it's always annoying when you have a different car. If you want to take another car for traveling and you got to have put gear on the roof, if you don't have, you know installed roof racks already on the car, then okay, there's just a problem. Like I don't want to go and for every vehicle I own over and over, and if I'm taking a friend's vehicle or if we're driving, with a different, with a van or something like that, it's very difficult. I mean, it's not difficult. It's basically impossible. You just need to have, roof racks installed on your car at all time. And it's, if you don't have them, you don't have them. So what's the solution? So again, there are solutions out there in the market, just not good ones. And really that's kind of what brought the idea to life, because I tried, I've tried many of them, and they're not safe. They don't have, enough capacity. They don't have, enough strength like the regular, heavy duty ones. And really that was the concept. Like, can we take the concept of universal, foldable, easily removed, kind of easy put on, put off, kind of, click of a button type of concept, but also take the specs of, the high level ones and the top notch kind of racks out there, and really just see if we can combine them, right? Um, so I mean, what Aviad came up with, the Knotix, it's basically, again, it really is universal. It really goes on almost every car. It's, you put it on, you take it off, you fold it, you put it in the trunk of your car, you put it in your garage. It has a 330-pound capacity, up to 125 miles per hour. Again, a lot of the things we were using, um, they can't do that. If you want to put up some serious cargo on the top of your car, and feel safe and not think that it's going to fly off and you're going to kill someone behind you, then you really need some serious gear. Um, So that was really kind of the concept of the Knotix. That's kind of the things that he kind of boiled into the idea. And again, it really is precisely that. It's combining those kind of two worlds of, again, click of a button type of feeling, fully removable, universal. Put it on one car, put it on the next, and again, any cargo you wanna put on your car works, not a problem. Put it away wherever you want. And the cherry here is also this. We just call it like the clicker system, which is basically like a rail on the top part of the Knotix, which basically gives it the ability for all these add-ons that we have. And we have a bunch of add-ons today, and you can see it on Kickstarter on the campaign page. Um, and basically what we're doing is there's all kinds of types of cargo, right? Like there's someone who wants to put his canoe, there's someone who wants to just take some tools, or bought a closet at Home Depot, right? There's really everything.
Yep.
So we really try to find how we can really securely have these things work with the Knotix. So we came up, like one of the main add-ons we have is like the smart strap, which at the end of the day is somewhat of a ratchet. It's just a mechanism that's using this rail. And what's great is that once you have this clicker mechanism, the rail on the top of the Knotix, we're just adding different add-ons as we go that use the same mechanism. So if you have, one set of the Knotix, and let's say you want to go fishing, then we just created basically something, an add-on that is, very easily you put on the Knotix, and it's, there you go. You can take your fishing rods with you. And again, it's just kind of pre-built for certain cargo that, with the smart strap, it wouldn't work. So we really just thought of all these ideas.
Yep.
One of the things that we are currently developing, and because of that, um, you know, we can't really offer it as an add-on currently on Kickstarter, is a bike mount, right? It's a little more advanced,
Nice.
but obviously a bike is something that a ton of people want to transport, and the smart strap is just insufficient for it. It can be done. It's not like the regular good bike mounts out there, and that's what's amazing about this whole system. So it's kind of a you buy it once, and really for anything that you'll ever want to transport, you'll just be able to with whatever one or two add-ons, depending on if you're a fisher, a skier, canoeer, or you just need it for like work and so on.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you guys have packed this thing so full of innovation. It's pretty ridiculous in terms of an all-in-one, roof rack system that I haven't seen. I think I know a lot of
Yeah.
the consumers that are out there are excited about. What I'm interested in is also how you guys got introduced to crowdfunding first, and why you decided to use Kickstarter as a means to launch this invention instead of a typical Amazon path that you guys likely would have taken in the past.
Right. So that's a great question. A lot of people ask that question because, again, they're like, "Hey, like you guys know Amazon, and like let's just bring this to life and start selling, and why not?" So I think the answer to that question is like threefold. Um, First and foremost, like at the end of the day, we got to remember this is a new product. So obviously, everything having to do with tooling and molds, it's non-existent. Tooling and molds being the the base of this product to even be able to create it, right? In our other business, the brands we own, it's basically products that exist. Maybe we have like a certain twist or a change or something like that, but it's a little more kind of regular kind of commerce. But with Anotics, again, the whole tooling and molds, it's pricey. I'm sure there's some crowdfunding campaigns that have less intricate, but the Knotix is, like you said, it's a serious product. It really requires a heavy, injection of capital. And instead of going to a big investor, which we could go down that route, but they'll eat you up, especially before you have any traction, any kind of proof of concept, and so on. It just made a lot of sense to us to just kind of go down this crowdfunding campaign and really just kind of get this injection of capital this way. Obviously, it also crowdfunding, Kickstarter, it really kind of introduces the product to market very well. If I just go and like throw a product on Amazon, it's kind of not the same as if I kind of really kind of brought it to life via a
Right.
crowdfunding campaign, people who are really hyped about the product. Obviously, if the product is shipping in a few months and they're willing to really kind of join us and really give us a hand and help us, then that kind of brings on the third element, which is, just product market fit, right? Um, when you have a lot of backers that are willing to kind of help you bring this to life, it's the real proof of, yeah, there's a demand for this. If it was available for shipping tomorrow morning, obviously I'm imagining we would have even more, but the fact that
Right.
there's so many backers and so many great people just loving this and sending us messages and like, this is an amazing idea, can't wait to see it. So again, it's really those kind of three aspects. Again, just the injection of capital, which is 100% necessary. Can't not take that into consideration. The right way to introduce it to market and kind of generate that hype and kind of bringing it forth to the world, and again, just kind of proving product market fit, which again, I'm as we can see already, we're very happy with the amount of backing and love we're getting. So it's really kind of proving that we have the right product and that we're on the right way.
Absolutely. So with all of the prep work that you guys have done to put this campaign in such a great position and getting the innovation launched out there and all of the feedback that you're now receiving, what are some of those learnings that you've now had that you didn't expect to have or that you're really excited that you now have in running a campaign on Kickstarter instead of a traditional Amazon launch?
So to be honest, the crowdfunding world and Kickstarter world, even though I've been many years in the Amazon and e-commerce world, is it's new. I've this is our first my first campaign as well. Obviously, also Aviad's first campaign. So all in all, it's been a great experience, but it's definitely been a learning experience. So obviously, first time crowdfunding. I'll definitely look back and say, hey, next time around, there's a bunch of things I would do a little differently. I mean, look, all in all, I think like one of the mistakes I'm actually feeling that we had is we I think we over prepared, meaning I think we took a very very long time to kind of launch this, not because it's not good to prepare, but just because we were so kind of we wanted everything to be so perfect and get the best assets and have the best marketing and the best everything. um, in the meantime, the whole macro situation in the world took a turn. The inflation, the war, and so on. So all kinds of things changed. I'm sure it has a certain effect on our ability or what could have been. So I would love to say that next time we'll just kind of obviously do things right and jump in much quicker. I think that's really kind of the main aspect that I'm feeling that we kind of learn from the mistakes. And again, that's it. It's the first time, so obviously there's a lot of things I would do differently, but we can't be too sad or angry on anything, because again, it's really our first time, and really trying to push and bring as many backers as possible. And you know we're already happy with what we have, but looking to really kind of maximize the potential here.
Speaking about that and the backers, how have you gone about managing some of that backer community feedback that you've gotten from Kickstarter that you would never see from Amazon, right? How have you gone about taking that and maybe building out some of the future products or add-on products that you guys have been thinking about now with Knotix?
100%. So first of all, it is very different than what we know, because we're getting just bombarded by like messages and questions and just understanding things, which is, again, it's really great, because obviously based on the feedback we're getting, we understand very quickly, like, hey, we need to add this little piece of information. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, like, you're giving measurements in inch, but I'm from England. Like, just why don't you put centimeters? Like, so yeah, there's a world outside of the U.S. where the majority of people, use the metric system. So I was like,
This
yeah,
is true.
this,
Yep. I know
this
we're
is
selfish
great,
over
great
here.
feedback. So exactly. So it's even helping us just like make the campaign better, but it's also giving us obviously a ton of ideas. For instance, like, we didn't think we'll get so much feedback about the bike mount. which was in development while we started. But now that we got so much feedback about it, we're really putting it into like accelerated mode. And we're really hoping that, again, we won't be able to offer it on the Kickstarter campaign, but hopefully right after it's going to kind of come to life. And we're hoping that it's, in line with the regular kind of timeline of the Knotix. So that's really just because of the feedback we're getting. I mean, we added a small add-on, which was much easier to kind of develop on the go, which was an add-on to kind of have the ability to add, your own like J hooks, right? And that's something we
Nice.
overlooked because we loved our, our smart strap, which was, we believed to be kind of all encompassing and everyone would want it. Where again, the majority of backers are very, very easy on, yeah, the smart strap is probably the best add-on they go with. But a lot of people reached out and they were like, hey, I have J hooks, I have my own stuff, like, how am I going to work with it? And very quickly we just kind of, turned around, an add-on that's, it was very easy on the development side, much easier than the bike mount. So we just really kind of went with the flow. So we're obviously learning and getting feedback all the time from backers, and not only
Yeah.
backers, just people reaching out with ideas. And also a lot of people asking about like certain cars. So we're really looking to try and understand like how to really make sure that people understand what it's compatible with and what it's not compatible with. Where again, like we said, the majority of cars and vehicles it's compatible with. There's one type of vehicle that it isn't. Unfortunately, the Tesla, which does not have frames, the windows are frameless.
Hmm.
And we need to have cars that have frames on the windows, which again is, besides Tesla, it's kind of the vast majority. That being said, we're again, because of that feedback, we're already also kind of, toying around and working on ideas in the future for, having the Knotix be compatible also with Tesla, also with vehicles that have, frameless windows. So it's really been again a great learning curve, and just from the communication and the back and forth with all the backers and just, potential backers that are interacting, it's been an amazing learning curve and just getting a ton of feedback in a very short amount of time, which is amazing. Another reason to go on Kickstarter and crowdfunding, just really getting that, that really good feedback, genuine, like, hey, does it work with this? Maybe have this idea. If 10 people say this is a good idea, I guess it's a good idea, So
Yeah.
it's really been a great experience.
That's amazing, Gilad. Well, listen, this
Yeah,
is going to get us into the launch round where I'm going to rapid fire a handful of questions at you. You good to go?
we're good to go. We're good to go.
All right. So, what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
What inspired me? I mean, it's I don't know to say that there was some real inspiration there, right? It's not that I had some epiphany of like I woke up one morning and said, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. um I think one of my inspirations is actually my brother, who's my partner in Enso Brands. He's my older brother. We've been working for many years. We fight a lot, but we get along. It's been already 8 years, I guess. If we've been together for 8 years, I guess we'll make it. But he basically kind of out of high school was like, yeah, college isn't for me. I'm just, I'm jumping in. I'm getting to business. I have a BA in philosophy, which is, has nothing to do with my entrepreneurship. It was a great, it's great experience and learning. But he was basically the inspiration there, where I saw like someone just kind of, jump in and just get to work very young. And I was like, I wanna jump in. I mean, I guess there's a reason why we're partners today. But
Sure.
I would say, if there's something that inspired me, it was, just kind of seeing my brother just kind of go at it, take the risk. He started out many, many years ago running a Segway touring business, and got into real estate and whatnot. And 8 years back, we really kind of partnered and started Enso Brands. So I guess that would be kind of the let's call it the inspiration.
Nice. So, if you could meet with any entrepreneur throughout history, who would it be?
Okay, so there's a few, but I'll go on maybe more of a common one. I'm sure you get this a lot, but it's really genuine. I would love to meet Elon Musk. He's just that, that type of entrepreneur. I mean, again, we deal with the Amazon world. I guess Jeff Bezos would be very interesting, but again, Elon Musk just, he seems like a more interesting conversation.
All right. What would be your first question for him?
So look, just looking at like what he's doing, I would ask this, off the record. I would ask him, like what gives him drive? Like, is he like truly altruistic and like, I really want to just, colonize Mars and give, mankind, a chance to survive? Like, is that really what drives him? Or is it just like, hey, I got to here, I can be the most successful person, let's kind of build my own monument. So I really try to understand like what gives these mega entrepreneurs drive, because again, obviously, you know money's not an issue anymore, right? So like, why do you get up at 5 a.m. and work all the
Sure.
way until God knows when, right? Like what gives you the drive there? I'd really love to kind of, I guess it's more of maybe a philosophical question, I guess.
Well, that would go well with your
Yeah,
schooling, right?
yeah,
All right.
exactly.
Any book that you would recommend to our listeners that they should read?
Yeah, so I actually finished this about 2 weeks ago. Very, very interesting. It's called The Minimalist Entrepreneur. It is written by the CEO of Gumroad,
Nice.
Sahil Lavingya. So really, really interesting. Like again, you read it and you're like, yeah, this makes so much sense. But like only after you read it, right? So you got to go read it. It really, really helps, understand entrepreneurship in, 2022, how it should be done, what the right way to do it is, just kind of things that are, people already know and obviously think that way, but it just kind of goes, kind of nails it right in. Really great book. Highly
Nice.
recommended.
Solid recommendation. I hadn't had that one yet. Looking forward to getting
Yeah,
that one in my
yeah,
Kindle.
yeah.
What advice would you give to a new inventor or entrepreneur that's looking to launch their product?
So I guess on myself, and I guess this kind of went through the the entire discussion is I think the right partner, right? Because as we said, I always work with partners. So obviously, with Enso Brands, with my brother, he definitely, me and him are, very much have our, set of capabilities, set of skills, that are different from one another. I would not succeed without him. I like to believe that he wouldn't succeed without me. And same idea here with, with Automount, with Aviad. Again, very, very kind of talented individual, very technical, like crazy ideas. But I have two left hands. I, for the life of me, wouldn't be able to bring any product like that to life. So I think really like the real advice here is, like the right partner. Sure, some people are solopreneurs; they can do it themselves, but I think that's not, I think that's the minority, not the majority.
Nice. What almost there. Last two questions. What do you think are the
Fire
top
away.
three skills that every entrepreneur needs to be successful?
Okay, so I think number one, believe it or not, is like a kind of like a easygoing type of attitude, like an easy look on life. Like I think you can't be an entrepreneur if like you're too serious about things, because if you're too serious about things, failure just kind of hits you much harder. When things are like a little, like obviously nothing's a game, business is business, no one wants to fail. But I think if you have like a easy take on things, it doesn't mean you're not professional. It just means that like you take failure and like, okay, failed, learn from it, let's go
Go
in,
with the
let's
flow,
keep on
right?
going. So that's number one. Um, Number two is definitely just being a quick learner. Like you don't need to be college university type smart necessarily, but like today 2022, if you want to get a crash course in anything, if you know how to find the right videos on YouTube and find the right blogs on Google, and you have the ability to just kind of learn quickly and just get access to the data you need, then you can just learn a ton of things. Obviously, majority of what
Yep.
I know was just learned over time. So just kind of learn, be a quick learner. And obviously, again, I guess this goes without being said, but just like a good people person, right? Like obviously, business is done with people. um, you can't be, I mean, again, there are probably some people that are successful without being good with people, but like at the end of the day, the majority of us just need to be good people, a good people person to be a good entrepreneur. And I guess, yeah, I guess that's the third.
Nice. All right, last question. You're doing great, man. What and I know this is your first crowdfunding campaign, but obviously very interested to hear your take on what does the future of crowdfunding look like.
Right. So again, the honest answer here is I'm not really sure because as you mentioned, like if you'd asked me about the future of e-commerce and Amazon, I would be very happy to shed some light on that. But the future of crowdfunding, look, from my understanding, and again, it's definitely not like yours, but I guess Roy, you can probably give your 2 cents on it. From my understanding, it's not what it used to be. Meaning, when crowdfunding just started, it really gave a major opening for small businesses to kind of bring their ideas to life. But I guess just like any kind of industry that really matures, we all know that there's big companies out there, and there's just so much that it really just kind of became very, very crowded. Not only crowded with people looking to do crowdfunding, but also crowded with like bigger companies, very deep pockets, very big campaigns. And just like anything, it kind of pushed the smaller entrepreneurs. Where again, I don't know, let's say 10 years ago, it would just be much easier to kind of bring their dream to life. It is becoming much more difficult, and there's much more kind of skill and capital needed. So, I mean, I would want to believe that the future is finding a way where again, maybe going in line with kind of the whole Web3 kind of situation where things are kind of constantly being brought back down to the user and to the SMB small guy. I would love to see some way or form where crowdfunding is really again kind of about a mom and pop or just a guy with a great idea that can actually bring it to life. And what the solution is I'm not 100% sure. I would say that's more of like where I would, I guess, want to see crowdfunding go, where again it just kind of brings it back down to the small guy who doesn't have the funds and just has a great idea. And how do we really bring him to the top with the support of everyone? I would love to see some way that it really comes back. I'm not 100% sure how that would happen, but I'm guessing it's more of wishful thinking.
I think there's an opportunity there, right? All these things evolve at the end of the day, so
Right, right, for
definitely,
sure.
yeah, absolutely. Well, Galad, this has been amazing. This is your opportunity to give the audience your final pitch, tell people what you're all about, where people should go, and why they should check you out.
Okay, so just go on Kickstarter. We're still live. We're still there. You know, go on Kickstarter, search for the Knotix. Really, every dollar helps us, no matter what, even if it's just a contribution. Obviously, getting in line to get a Knotix in a few months would be amazing. I'm 100% sure that it will change your transportation life. It really will give you tremendous benefit. Definitely, if you're kind of the outdoors type of person, or basically anyone who just needs a roof rack that can be used on multiple cars. It will change your life. And again, it really every dollar will really just kind of help us bring this dream to life. So again, we're still live on Kickstarter. The Knotix, you'll find us, and really anything and everything will be extremely helpful for us to bring this to life.
Amazing. Audience, thanks again for tuning in. Make sure to visit artofthekickstart.com for the notes, transcript, links to the campaign, and everything else we talked about today. And of course, I got to give a shout out to our crowdfunding podcast sponsor over at Product Type, the top newsletter for new products that just launched. Gilad, thank you so much for joining us today on Art of the Kickstart.
Thank you very much, Roy. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, sir.